Hello, my friends and fellow crafters. Welcome back to a brand new Realm News. I am your host, the Dark Lord. The one who puts the real in Realm and expands your mind one block at a time. Today, I have the pleasure to introduce you all to a brand new guest to Realm News. They are a major player in the oldest Minecraft SMP server called MinecraftOnline.com. It launched the same day Notch released Survival Multiplayer, I believe an hour after he released it, and has been around since. According to Guinness Book of World Records, it is indeed the oldest Minecraft server running today. NightSteak runs the largest museum in a city called Newport in a world called Fredonia on this server. He is the founder of the Historical Society, and he is the owner and operator of the Frontier Trading Co., along with a bunch of other accolades and associations he's with. This Frontier Trading Co. is a store where you can purchase armor and other necessities for surviving in the End Dimension. NightSteak is a very experienced player with a great depth of game knowledge. I'm excited to introduce you to him. Without further ado, let's start the show. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Realm News. Today, I have a special guest on this show, NightSteak. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you doing?
It is such an honor to be here, man. I gotta say, I'm really excited to finally be on Realm News. I've been listening for a few months now, so yeah, this is pretty big for me.
I'm super excited to have you on the show. I didn't realize at first just how prolific you were in well, I guess in the old days of Minecraft. It's actually
Yeah.
amazing. And I do want you, before I really dive into this, just so the audience knows a little bit about you, could you just tell me a little bit about yourself? I understand you're an anthropology student, correct?
Oh yeah. So I'm in anthropology, and I'm still in college right now in my sophomore year. Outside of that, I mean, there's not much to do around me. It's like I live in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you could probably get it coming from Kansas,
Yeah,
but
I we have that in common.
but over around me, it's like I grew up just like doing stuff like I really enjoy like foraging and poking around like abandoned buildings. So I mean, those are two things that I love to do outside of Minecraft. Um,
Nice.
but besides that, yeah, Minecraft is really just my big passion.
That's awesome. And so your thirst for the ancient is what led you to being an anthropology student, I take it? Just ancient societies?
Oh yeah, dude. It's like I've always sort of been interested in history, like local history and just like or yeah, even just stuff like mythology and whatnot. So it's I've
Mhm.
also really been into Minecraft history for as long as I can remember, and I've been playing Minecraft since maybe like 2012 or whatever.
Oh,
So
wow.
I really don't know whether or not I fell in love with Minecraft history or real life history first, but I know one definitely gave me the passion for the other.
Dang, you've been playing it pretty much just a couple years after it started. You've been playing it longer. Well, I got introduced to it by my brother in 2013, so dang. You beat me there. That's awesome. And you are, in fact, the owner of a museum called Newport Museum, or Odds and Ends, correct? It's on
That
this
is
MinecraftOnline.com server.
Yeah, so Minecraft Online is the oldest survival Minecraft server, and not to toot my own horn, but I am proud to say I own the by far the largest museum on that server. So yeah,
That
Odds
is
and Ends.
awesome.
It's funny that you mentioned that. Odds and Ends was our old name before we moved to Newport, and it's currently named Newport Museum now. But I'm actually looking at moving the museum to its own site in a different city that was actually built for the museum. And
Oh, wow.
when I move it, we're thinking of renaming it to the Fredonian Museum of History.
That's awesome. Wow. Well, let's talk about that when we get to the museum part, because that's going to be a huge endeavor, I imagine.
Oh,
It's
definitely.
okay. I before I would just want to before we get before I ask you about your museum and your trading post you have, I would like to I'd actually like to talk to you about MinecraftOnline.com a little further. You just mentioned that it's the oldest server, SMP, survival multiplayer server, correct? And that's
That
only
is
for
correct.
Java, right?
Yeah, so we're there's actually a few Bedrock servers. I don't know. Did you do the Twitch drop yesterday, where that you had to like watch 10 minutes of like a Twitch stream of
I
Minecraft to
did
get that
not.
free shirt?
Dang, I didn't. I didn't.
You have like a whole month to do it, so don't worry about that. But like, I actually saw a stream on there where someone else was claiming they were on the oldest Minecraft server from like 2014 or whatever. It was a
Oh,
Bedrock server, and that was a new one for me. But there's actually quite a few servers that claim to be the oldest. But Minecraft Online is the oldest that has not been reset.
and
So there's like other servers, like there's one called nerd.nu, which is technically older, but they reset their server like or the world map like every 6 months or so. So I don't think that really counts.
and could you explain to the audience why they would do that? Why do they reset the worlds?
So world resetting, like I personally don't get it why anyone would play on a server that would reset the world, but it seems popular on most of the big survival servers. So pretty much every time a server updates to one of the newer versions or a significant newer version, they would reset the map so that you'd have all this new terrain generated and all these new features generated instead of having to travel like thousands of blocks to find them. So that's pretty commonplace. I mean, I've seen it in a lot of SMPs that I've briefly looked at in the past. But Minecraft Online is different in that it never resets. It's just got a set border which expands with every update, adding new terrain to the farther regions.
I personally, I can get on board with Minecraft Online and how you guys do that because that's how I do it with my personal world. I when new features come, I don't start new worlds to go find it. I put in the effort to go travel and try to find that biome. Like, except for I will say this, and I have said it: the Pale Garden, I did use chunk base, and I and
Yeah, I
I
remember you talking about that.
and I went there on foot. But typically, I just try to find it naturally.
I mean,
So I think
you
that's
still
really
haven't
cool.
found a trial chamber yet, right?
No, I haven't. I was
See,
thinking
that's
about that
dedication right
yesterday.
there. Yeah, you'll come up on one eventually, but no, I do appreciate that you're doing that. I don't see why people would like delete all their worlds and their hard-earned work there just to get some new features coming closer to them. It just doesn't make sense to me.
No, so when the servers that are resetting the worlds, is that what's happening? Is it removing all the old structures and everything every time?
Yeah, sometimes they're available to
Dang.
download. Like you can download the whole world, like as a map that you can play in single player or whatever. But servers resetting their maps is like pretty much the most common end for survival multiplayer world. I really don't get it, but it just seems so common.
Yeah,
And
you'd
that's
lose all
like
the
one thing that
history
really
and everything.
stuck with me.
So,
Sorry, what?
no, I was just saying that, I agree with you fully because you'd lose all the history and context of what you built.
And that's honestly what makes Minecraft Online so special because it's been through so many versions. It's been through like early beta test versions and whatnot. Like as soon as like Survival was released to the public, that's when Minecraft Online was released. Like I think it was made like a couple hours after Survival went public. So like they really jumped on it there. So because of that, like we've gone through a bunch of different versions and we have like all sorts of old beta terrain which generated completely different from modern terrain. And I mean, terrain's like generated like very differently over the years. Like the Caves and Cliffs update also completely switches that up too. And the server's currently on an older version right now, but when we update past Caves and Cliffs, like the world's going to change like significantly in the newer land. So I think it's really cool that you can just go and see old terrain and new terrain on the same world without having to switch servers.
That's amazing. So it's almost like, oh, so so where you spawn in this world, because I kind of saw that there's a spawning point center, which is really cool, like a tourist center,
Oh yeah.
right? And
So
so when you spawn there, that's like the oldest part, right?
yep, that's
It,
the original the you spawn in a lake and that was the original terrain that was first generated by the person who started Minecraft Online.
so it looks old school.
Yep. I mean, Spawn is there's like a certain squared area called Spawn City, which is the area right around Spawn. And there's some people that try to put down new buildings, but the new buildings within Spawn, like within the walls of Spawn, are just so heavily enforced.
Huh.
Outside of that, you can build whatever you want, wherever you want, and as long as you're not like building on someone else's stuff. but like inside Spawn, they do like have some sort of beauty standards, so not much new gets built there, and it is pretty
That's
crowded.
hilarious. No, I like that. No, no, that's amazing. And so you can pretty much see the age of the city the further you go out. Then just
Oh yeah, no, that's actually it's really cool because yeah, you will see more modern cities and more modern builds the further you go, but you can also see some like pretty old stuff closer to Spawn that has like stuff that glitched over time too, like doors near Spawn that are from old buildings. A lot of them
mhm.
have corrupted, so both of them will be like bottom doors, and like you can like open the top part of the door and the bottom part of the door
Oh
separately.
my
They're
gosh,
like kind of like barn doors. They're really weird, but like that glitch
that's
is pretty common
awesome.
around Spawn.
That's awesome. No, that is cool. I kind of want that now in vanilla, the barn door. I think that would
And
be really neat. So I have to ask this: the name of the world in this server is Fredonia, right?
yep.
Okay, where does it get that name? Is it because it's free?
So, to the best of my knowledge, Fredonia was named that way because they wanted it to be like a fully free place where you could just build whatever you want. I mean, there in the beginning there wasn't any rules for what you could build like right around spawn. Like you could just build whatever you want wherever you wanted, especially because there wasn't a lot of land back then.
Oh
But
gosh, like the Wild West.
yeah, exactly. But even though Fredonia has expanded a lot and the player base has expanded massively, I mean, those still core rules are still there. It's like you can do whatever you want as long as you're not like building on other people's stuff or breaking other people's stuff.
That I like that. And you guys are really strict on the no griefing, no spamming, right?
Yeah, we have over 40,000 bans from people getting mostly banned for griefing, but like, yeah, some bans were for spam or for hacking, like using X-ray mods or whatever. But yeah, no, it's the amount of bans is pretty crazy. But when you consider how many years it's been around and how many players have gone through it, it does kind of make sense.
No, it does. How many people are? Well, that's a question, but I can jump to it. How many people? I think I have here. Quote: Fredonia has almost 270,000 unique players as of June 2022. End quote. I'm sure that's grown, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. But the thing is, like that counts like every single player that's logged into the server. Most people
Oh,
only join for one or two times just to check the place out, but then they don't like it because usually it's because it's an older version. Like we're on 1.12.2, which is before even Drowned were added to the game, before Tridents or anything.
oh wow.
So yeah, it's a pretty old version. I still play on it, and like the other people that are on Minecraft Online, there is a dedicated veteran fan base there that like doesn't really care that it's an older version. Some even prefer it because it's an older version, but they're planning on updating it soon to one of the newest versions. So most of us are just like sitting and waiting, hoping it's going to be this year.
Dang, that's going to be a quantum leap.
Oh,
Um,
seriously?
so that is you kind of touched a vein there, hit one, I should say, about the people preferring old school Minecraft in the old days because that's a huge community that is. I've
Oh
seen
yeah,
on Twitter that there's a lot of people out there that want this to just revert back, like
that's the
especially the
thing. Is
Nether.
and like I mean you could say like oh well why don't you just play older versions and I mean I feel that way mostly but then again like that doesn't really give an option to bedrock players like I know you can play an older version if you wanted to
Yeah.
you'd have to play like whatever modern version unless you're using some like I don't even know like mod clients or whatever I think
Hmm.
there's like technically ways you can do it on bedrock but it's not meant like to in any sort of official sense but like with Minecraft Online, that's the best thing about it. It's got like features from the older versions. Like it has like old villages and whatnot, like back when they're all made out of cobblestone and wood. And
No, that's
then it
awesome.
also even has like old villagers, like even from like when they were first added, and that means they have their old trades and they have a completely different set of trades than what the modern villagers have. So some of them are worth a lot, some of them are just like cool to have. But like it's cool that you get like the best of both worlds and you get a little bit of everything from this world.
Yeah, that's amazing. I see. Yeah, I only played Bedrock. I really kind of want to start a Java account so I can jump in here and check it out. Because
I'd love to show you around at some point if you ever do.
I'm going to have to try to do that. I'll have to figure that out. Yeah, well, yeah, I'd love to have a tour, especially of your museum.
Oh, that would be
Um,
great.
I read up on Newport. Um, Here, let me see here on its website. Can you tell the audience? I read that the largest, I guess it's not the city, but the largest city is Newport, right?
Yep.
Fredonia is the world, and the largest city is Newport itself.
Yeah. So pretty much Fredonia is the entire world, and there's different settlements across the whole place, and like settlements are categorized as cities, towns, or villages. Newport is the biggest of them all. Like regardless, it is the or because the thing is, like with Newport, it's been around since 2020, and like while like a lot of, I'd say probably the majority of Newport citizens are like players that aren't active anymore, they still
Hmm.
have like apartments and whatnot, and I'd still count them as citizens. And Newport
Hmm.
still does get like a lot of foot traffic today, even though like most of the people that have apartments aren't active,
How
because
many
there's
people
like
do you think? I'm
or
sorry to cut you off, but just population of the
act. Do
city,
you
what
think, are you
of
talking about like
active
active
people?
population, or do you think, or like full population? Because
I don't know. You tell me what the full population, I guess, would
for
probably be
the full
easier way
population,
to
definitely in
answer.
the hundreds, like with all the apartments that are put down. But like I said, those are people which might not have been on the server for years, and a lot of
Hmm.
those apartments are just completely abandoned. Some of them are taken by veteran players that just wanted an apartment in the city, but then again, they like never use it. I think I even
Oh.
have a few apartments in Newport, which I just haven't done anything with yet. So
Oh
that
wow.
definitely is a problem with the city. But like, regardless, like with it's probably got an active player base of like 7 or 8 players that are completely dedicated to Newport. And then a few other, there's always like people coming in because we have the best XP farm on the server. Also, it's got
Oh
like a really good tree farm. I don't really know how that works, but like it's got some sort of automatic log collector. So
yeah, I
that's,
saw that. How's that work?
I
That's
genuinely don't
amazing.
know. It's like redstone mechanics go beyond me. But Minecraft
Same.
Online actually has a plugin called Craft Book, which allows for extended redstone functionalities. And I have a feeling that it's Craft Book machinery that allows
Oh,
those farms to work.
gotcha. So, what's the population of Fredonia in itself?
So with that, I mean, I'd probably only talk about the active players. I'd say there's like a few hundred active players, maybe 2 or 300 that like they're names that people would recognize, but like
Hmm.
maybe they only log on once a month or whatever, and some log on like every single day. It's kind of crazy. It's honestly like, yeah, there's been some veterans that just like they've played like MCO for like literal months of time. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, there's like a pretty dedicated player base. But then again, there's also new players coming in. So whenever you're online, there's maybe like 20 to 35 players online. And I'd say about a third of those would be new players, and then 2/3 would be veterans. But then it really depends on what's going on, because whenever people make videos of the server, the player count spikes up a lot, and it's usually just new players checking out the place. But then after a couple days or so, that goes back down.
Okay, that's interesting. No, it really is. I just wanted to. I was just trying to get my mind wrapped around how many people are in this massive world because I saw here that there's a radius of 21,000 kilometers. That's
Oh
the
man.
size of this world. I think these are old statistics that I found on the site.
Yeah, it's the statistics for MCO itself should be up to date. Any statistics on my museum are pretty outdated, but the world size is probably that size. Yeah,
Jeez,
it's
that's
absolutely
massive.
massive. But like, it could be bigger, honestly, because I know people would expand further if they could. But that's where the world border is set, just so that people don't have to go like way too far to find stuff in the new update whenever they release that.
That's
Also,
amazing.
I think the admin said at one point that they liked a sort of finite world size that it gets expanded upon. That way, people can like build their bases close together, and when you're flying over it with an elytra or whatever, you don't have to go too far to find someone else's build. And I do think that's pretty cool. I mean, it makes it a lot more interesting exploring.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I saw some remarkable buildings on here that are in Newport, your city. Some of these are a casino. I saw a couple massive apartment buildings, which you mentioned. You have several apartments where you can. It said here that you can rent your very own apartment. I have to ask, how does currency work in this city or world? Are there taxes in place, or what's going on here? I'm
So,
curious about that.
That is a very good question because currency in Minecraft Online is pretty complicated. I mean, at least when you really dig into it. So we don't have taxes really. Some settlements have in the past. They've mentioned it, but I can't imagine any of those like take taxes seriously or enforce them seriously. But there definitely is like sort of a unofficial central currency being like diamonds and diamond blocks, which is
Yeah.
interesting because we're kind of at a point where there's just like an infinite number of diamond tools and armor just laying around. So there's not really an actual point in keeping around diamonds, like or collecting them for any sort of actual use. But people just collect the diamonds because like they know that they have value and they know that they can trade with them. So they've sort of just become a useless but like consistent currency. I actually wrote a report on them for my final essay in my economics class last year, and that was one of
Oh,
the few essays I've actually got an A on in my college career. So that was pretty
that's
interesting.
amazing.
But outside of diamond blocks, that we have some non-standard currencies, which are some people used to trade in like gold, but after some massive gold farms were set up, that economy kind of crashed, and the diamond economy isn't really trusted either by a lot of people. So people have made their own currencies in the past, like some people have used like written books, and then one of those is New Sardinian banknotes. Another one is called MCO coin, and those are not too popular, but we've seen a few instances of those. And then we've also seen people that take like pieces of paper, and then we have a plugin called Craft Note, which pretty much allows you to put your specific player NBT data on a piece of paper. So it says like you can write a note on like the paper, and then it'll say your name under it. So that's sort of a way to authenticate that like that paper or that craft note came from a certain player. So those are also used as or produced and used as currency. And we've seen that like since 2017. The first one of those was called Posa Bucks, and honestly, they weren't too popular, but a few of them were made, and right now they're considered like super high value collectibles, just because there's a lot of newer currencies that follow that sort of path by using craft notes, and with all of those coming up and becoming more and more mainstream, not really being used by people, but being created by towns and just spread around. Um, that's made Posa Bucks like the original one worth a whole lot more.
That's a I was reading up on those and I did see the posted bucks, and that's something that you're looking for, isn't it, for your museum?
Oh yeah, dude, they're like the holy grail of collectors. I have a Posa penny, which is another craft note, which is like a lesser version of it. I think 9 Posa pennies makes one Posa buck or something like that. So
Really?
I don't even have both of them. But for everything else, like non-standard currencies like that, like the notes in the books, they're of very high value to me. So I've collected like pretty much every other kind that I can find, and I think I have
That
like all others right now. So
is super interesting. And when I was reading about that last night, about it, it never occurred to me about making currency out of books. The diamonds, I understood, and I thought was very clever. And the gold ore, I thought was
oh,
clever as well.
oh yeah.
Um, but the books, I was like, wow, they are thinking on a different level. But wouldn't that be kind of expensive doing the book and quill or and the ink sac and leather and everything for that
Yeah,
currency?
so the thing is, with that, craft note is actually more expensive because that takes like something like 30 ink and then like one piece of paper. So you
Wait,
do a command
I'm
like
sorry.
slash craft note, and then you have a piece of paper in your inventory, and you have like 30 ink in your inventory, and that
What
so it
is
takes like a
craft
ton of
note?
ink for one craft note. Sorry, what were you
Or
saying?
I guess what is craft note? I'm sorry. I just
So
don't even know
sorry, I
what that
explained
is.
it just briefly earlier, but it's a plugin that allows you to put your name down on a paper, and
Oh,
then like so it'll say like paper, and then under it like you can have a description which you can write. So most people use this to like write notes, which they'll like leave in other people's chests or whatever, and then
cool.
under it will have your player name. And that's important because like that means like that came from this certain player. It can't be duplicated. It can't be copied or
Hmm,
anyway, so you can like release a set amount of these, and they can be used as a currency because no one's going to be like making copies of them or anything like that.
that is
So
awesome.
yeah, no, they've been actually a pretty reliable, or not. I wouldn't say too reliable, but like multiple people have used them for their currencies. I will say though, most of these currencies haven't taken off, and that most of them are just like collected by collectors who just see them as
It,
just sort of
it
niche.
Did I make this up or did I read last night that I think somebody back in November last year introduced some type of cryptocurrency?
Oh my god, that was such a stupid idea. It's he called it a cryptocurrency, and he said like he'd be changing the value like at random times. Like he would just like say, okay, now it's worth like two times its value. Now it's worth half its value.
What?
But
Just random?
yeah, it was just, it random like according to him. Like he would just make up the numbers, I guess,
Oh
or
my gosh, it wasn't
it was
based
just it
on
was
any
ridiculous
math
from
or
the start.
anything.
And then like after like 2 days, he realized he couldn't do that, so he passed it on to someone else, who then closed it after 2 weeks. Luckily, I managed to collect some of them from both of the makers, but yeah, that was a stupid idea from the start, and it was never going to take off.
That's funny though. Yeah, at least you got the collection. That's awesome.
Oh
And
yeah, no.
what is this? The new US dollar. I saw there's the new United States, but this new US dollar's value is 1 to equals 9 diamonds.
Okay, so yeah, those are
What?
actually pretty interesting because the new U.S. was a coalition of different settlements, and that was around I think back in 2021 to 2022. And when they were around, yeah, they decided to take inspiration from Posa bucks and also Ren bucks, which were another non-standard currency, which was popular at the time. So they thought, why don't we bring this to a smaller scale and make them like worth the price of diamonds? So because they thought they saw like, okay, yeah, people are trading in the diamond standard. We if we make this a 1-to-1 to the diamond standard, maybe they'll start trading with these too. Honestly, I
Wow.
think it was a good idea, but it was too expensive, especially considering that, like I said, to make a craft note with the plugin, it costs like 30 something ink. So not too many of those were produced. Like I have like probably a stack of them, so I'd
Wow.
say that there's probably a few more stacks in existence, but I wouldn't put it past him to say that they're probably in the hands of inactive players or players that aren't going to give them up. So it was
That's
an interesting idea, but in the end, it just became a novelty.
and now they're worth quite a bit.
Oh yeah, and actually, the thing it's interesting because I was elected the leader of the new U.S. despite not running for their political campaign or whatever. Like I don't even know what happened. Like I wasn't even part
You
of their
were just
Discord
forced
server.
into it?
Literally, yeah. So I was the leader of the new US for a couple months, and I produced just a few notes. So those are actually super valuable now, at least to me, because like I'm trying to find them and trying to at least like find proof that they existed, because I know I made some of them, but I just can't find any. I never saved any for myself.
And they
So
have and they have your signature NightSteak
yeah,
on it?
that's the thing. So most of them have the signature of the original leader, and then there's some that have the signature of the last president, and then there's a few that should have mine too. So there should be three different variants, but I've never found one that has mine on it, despite knowing that I've produced some in the past.
That's
So
insane. I
that
love
is
that.
something I'm very interested in finding.
That is awesome. So, how does inflation work on this market? Does it go by the invisible hand of economics, or is somebody dictating the prices here?
So yeah, it's honestly just pure economics. Like
Wow.
the diamond value has crashed in the past, either from duping or people like with like admin perms like having vaults which they just let other people access, and then that completely ruins the market. Or
Hmm.
there was one time where this person like completely crashed the market by getting like someone with like admin powers to spawn him a bunch of diamonds, which technically it shouldn't be possible for in the modern day. Like when a person with those sorts of powers like spawns any sort of blocks or summons them, it shouldn't be available to any other players. And when any other player like tries to grab them, it like disappears. So it's got like some special MBT data on it or something. But this guy,
Interesting.
this one player figured out a way how to wash these items off so that they wouldn't be deleted when other people use them. And then he used
What?
that to like pretty much start an empire. And then on while he was doing that, he was like, I mean, he was like paying people like 4 or 5 stacks of diamond blocks for like stupid jobs and like making everyone around him rich. And in turn, that like absolutely crashed the economy. That was back in 2021. I'm friends with him now,
Wow.
but I have not forgiven him for that.
And they're still in this? They're still an active member?
Yeah, so they actually got punished for that. We have a system called the Nexus, which is basically different teleport pads set across the world. They
Yeah, I wanted to
some of
talk
them
to you
lead
about
to
that.
different settlements if they're big enough. But he had his Nexus revoked for this because, like, yeah, the admins were pretty pissed.
Oh my gosh. So he
Yeah,
wasn't banned, but he was restricted.
yeah, it's technically what he did. I mean, honestly, he was using abusing some glitch, so it was against the rules. So, but they did just let him off with a slap on the wrist because he was pretty popular. At least I think
So
that's why he got away with it.
is okay, so in your own city, I did read something. Who was the founder? Snake?
Yeah, Snaky man.
Yeah,
He's
Snaky Man. What
yeah.
happened there? I read something in the history of that city that he was banned for a little bit, brought back. But also that somebody came into that city and did some griefing there with some cobblestone and I don't know, it
Oh
was
yeah.
interesting to read about.
No, Snakey's made a lot of enemies in the past. He's a veteran player. He's been around since like what 2018, something like that. So
Dang.
he's been playing Minecraft online for a long time. And Newport was only founded in 2020. So before that, he actually ran a few other settlements. I don't know how well they did, but they're pretty decently sized. So I mean, that's got to count for something. But in this, at the
Yeah.
same time, like he's been known as a troll, and he's made a lot of enemies on the server. So yeah, no, Newport has been attacked several times just because people are mad at him and then they take it out on us, which is just like the people that are just working in Newport. Like my museum has definitely been attacked in the past because someone was pissed at Snaky Man and they just took it out on me.
They
So
killed all your
that's something
mobs,
ridiculous.
right?
What's that?
Didn't they kill your mobs?
Oh my god, yeah, that was an attack directed at me just because I don't even remember how that started, but yeah, no, I've definitely had some people that disagree with me and like because like I'm pretty serious about like archival and like I will go after like people that like destroy history like. I've known people that like throw books in lava or whatever just to piss other people off. So
What?
like when you're actually like destroying the server's history, like that's not something I can stand for. And then like I will just keep going after you. So I have made some enemies that way, and
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes they will retaliate on the museum, and we have lost a few like 1-to-1 mobs which don't exist anywhere else and like could not be like brought back unless like an admin spawned a new one for us. That's what we've been able to do
Dang.
sometimes, just like pull an admin's leg and be like, hey, this was something pretty rare that we lost, like can you give us a new one? like
Dang.
but
Dang.
we haven't been able to do that recently, so we just have lost a lot because of that.
I was reading about that last night about the mob killings in your museum, and I told my girlfriend. We both were like, "Who would do that? That is so messed up."
Literally,
Like,
and so, some of them have been like unprovoked, just like people that were just pissed off and like they're like I said, like pissed off at Snaky Man, and they just thought like, okay, let's take it out on this guy.
gosh, dang. So, okay, let me see where I'm at here, because I do want to get more in depth with the museum. But I know I have some more questions about this world before I get there. Let's see. I saw we kind of mentioned the free wood in Newport and stone. So I did. I kind of want to ask you still about pricing. Like I'm just super fascinated by the currency. I
Oh yeah.
don't know why. But so how does that work? Do you pay for like a diamond for an item or two for like here's a stack of stone for 10 diamonds or how's that work?
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly how it works. So there's a lot of, like I said earlier, we have this craft book plugin which allows you to use signs to extend redstone functionalities, and one of those functionalities is being able to have like shops that work like with just a single person. Like you just click one of the signs, and then it takes your diamonds and it gives you an item, and
Oh,
then
cool.
it just you just set up some redstone that goes down to a chest like under below it, and yeah, it's pretty smooth. It doesn't lag. Like that's another thing with craft book. It like takes away a lot of the lag that redstone would usually have. So you're able to set up. I think automatic shops are still possible in a complete vanilla, but like this removes like a lot of the lag that would be involved with that and makes it like a lot more compact. But yeah,
Nice.
those shops like they do run that way, and pretty much all shops run on diamonds. Like even if the item isn't worth diamonds, like dirt, for example, you can maybe get like 3 stacks of dirt for a diamond. But
Wow.
everything's on the diamond standard.
So are you allowed? Okay. Let's say you have a bunch of diamonds, or let's say you have some money.
Hmm.
And hang on, let me just backtrack. Let's say you're new to Fredonia,
Hmm.
and like, do you claim a plot of land, or do you have to ask permission to build a house, or how's that work?
So if it's in the wilds, like if there's no other builds near you, like or just like directly around you, you can just claim whatever area. Just as long as there's like, and builds can even be something as small as like a torch with a fence or whatever, because that could
Mm.
mean like someone else has claimed the area trying to do something with it. But like if the area is completely free out in the woods, you can just do whatever, like regardless of if someone else says that they want to use it or not.
Oh,
But
cool.
if it's in a town, like if you want to build outside of town, like you'd have to ask the town leader's permission,
Hmm.
Sometimes that would be one person, sometimes that would be a committee. It really depends on how towns run. Some of them are just like completely free build, and then you just expand on it without having to ask anybody. But yeah, pretty much all towns have a leader of some sorts.
That's neat. I've read here, I counted 18 different towns that were founded last year in 2024 on this server, such
Mhm.
as, let me just read a few off for the listeners: Riverdale, because some of these names are cool, Sweet Russ, Prismatic Sands, Owen Fur, Bellefontaine, Modeville, Arstotska, Stars. What is that one? Stars Rest, Wintry Town, and Dusty River. Have you visited any of these that I listed?
So, Prismatic Sands is actually one that I'm quite familiar with because
Okay.
that's one of the few like interesting builds that's in the end. And what that is it's a bunch of concrete powder that's made in like a rainbow pattern, and it
Oh
completely
wow.
covers like I think a couple end islands. There's like one big island, and I think it extends to other ones too. And that's made by a friend of mine, Abamicus. They've done a ton of work in the end. Like he completely redid the center end islands to make it like possible for the dragon fight to happen like again and again
Oh
without much
wow.
issue. So like he's also done like a lot like expanding highways across the ends to make it more accessible to get into the outer islands and whatnot. So that's probably one of my favorite things about the end. The other builds I've heard of Modville, and I believe I've been to what was it? Um, Riverdale. I've definitely been to Riverdale. I don't remember anything about it, but I just know I've been there because they've got a Nexus.
That
Um, Outside of that, though, like around 2024, like last year, I've just and for the recent time I've been online, I've just been so focused on expanding the museum and just like setting up stuff that's already been donated to us.
mm,
So pretty much with that, like I haven't had the chance to explore nearly as much as I used to. So I don't know the more recent settlements as well as I know the older ones.
that's interesting. Do you have you been to them all? Like the older
Uh,
ones at least?
Definitely not all of them. There's hundreds of settlements, and I will never get to them all. Or even like I've
Dang.
looked at most of them on, or I'd say probably most of them on the wiki, just out of interest over the years. But I've definitely never been to them all, and I don't think I ever will. Like regardless of how much time end up spending on this server.
That's interesting. No, I definitely need to get on there because I'd love to just, I think, just go walk around or travel and just visit like all
It's
these places.
it's crazy how immersive it is because like you said, like right outside of spawn there's just so much out there that gets older and older as you go, but there's like just so many towns and cities that just expand out like directly outside of it. It's really something special.
No, it is. And I imagine all these towns range in different sizes and they're all owned by individuals, you say?
Yeah, so some are owned by like committees, but yeah, the vast majority of them are owned by individuals. Even the free build ones usually have like an owner to them. So I
Okay.
think I'm pretty sure that is like one requirement for calling yourself a settlement of like any kind, that it has to have a certain owner. And that just like
And
helps with like permission issues. If people are fighting over the land, then you call the settlement owner in and then have them sort it out.
do wars break out? I know
Oh
that
yeah.
probably the admins probably step in really fast, but because there's no, that's probably against the rules, right?
Or for wars.
Yeah.
No, it's the only rules are that you can't break stuff. You can't like cheat, like use like some sort of like hacks or whatever. Like there's like some flying clients or whatever that you could use on I think 2B2T, but yeah, no, anything like that's banned on Minecraft Online, and you can't spam. But outside of that, like you can like steal if like chests are unlocked, and you don't have to break anything to get into those chests.
Oh
You can
wow.
kill like whoever you want as long as you're not like bullying them, like killing them like just like right outside of spawn, and every time they respawn, you just kill them again. Like
Really?
yeah, but
So
outside of that, you can just do whatever. Like you can just raid people, you can steal whatever. And there has been like multiple wars which have broken out in the past. I haven't participated in too many myself, but I've been involved with factions that have. So they were a lot more common in the older days, like 2018 before I joined.
where did those typically where did those typically break out? Like amongst out in the fringes, or do some of these major cities like Newport go to war with other major towns?
So usually that is what's happening. It's like the fighting breaks out inside a town, and it's like usually an ambush from one party attacking members of that town, which then those people from that town will like reinforce themselves, and that's usually where the wars happen. So Newport has definitely had some fights break out. Wouldn't say a full out war has happened in Newport yet, but there
Dang.
definitely has been skirmishes where like 4 or 5 players on each sides are going at each other. But back in
Dang.
2018, there was a group called the Benem or the Benjaminese Empire, and that was probably the biggest settlement on Minecraft Online or organization because it was a group of settlements that were together under this empire, and they definitely had some wars, which I heard were quite massive. But once again, that was before my time, so I forgot to participate in any of
No, actually, that sounds
that.
really cool.
Yeah, it's one thing that's another thing I really love about the server, just how like deep the lore goes. Like, there's been so many players like that have walked these lands and done all this stuff before us, and I just find that fascinating.
You have a lot of archival work to do just to preserve that history, huh?
Yeah, no, it never ends, man. Like literally.
I think I read that there's a newspaper somewhere
Um,
in a town. I can't remember where their headquarters is.
We do, yeah. There is actually a few people that there. I was trying to figure out what you meant because there's actually a few newspapers that have happened in the past. They're all like digital, of course, but like there's one for Dubina, which is like a pretty popular settlement. What's one of the biggest settlements actually? They're most known for being like the central settlement in the United Texas Coalition or the UTC. That's an
Okay.
organization that I guess I'd consider myself a part of because I have a apartment in Dubina. But yeah, no, they're pretty impressive.
That's awesome. No, actually, I'm about to get to that. After I ask you this, I was going to get to a few personal questions here next. Some of your accomplishments that were listed on. It's almost like a wiki that is on this Minecraft Online
Oh yeah,
site.
we have our own. I think Wikimedia is the same thing that Wikipedia actually uses, like the same engine. So yeah, we
Okay,
have like it's
gotcha.
pretty comprehensive.
No, that's super cool. So you solved a Scar Call 72's Challenger Cache 2.0. What's that?
So that was basically it was a treasure hunt that was like taking you all across the world, and that was insanely complicated. Like I definitely had to ask for help from a bunch of different people, but like I wasn't even the first to solve the cache. Like the first to solve the cache was the pretty much head admin. Like she's not officially the head admin, but she just does so much that everyone considers her it. Her name's
Mm,
Anna28, or that's the handle she goes by, and she solved the cache like within the first few hours of it coming out, which is just kind of crazy because she just knows everything about the server. That was just kind of to be expected. But I was the
mhm.
first like actual player to solve the cache after that. And I think only one other person solved it after me. So that
Wow.
was like probably one of the most impressive things I've done on the server. At least like I didn't think I had it in me.
Did you win anything?
I did actually. I won a or a special bone that has like some text under it that only like a admin can summon. So they
Oh,
call it
cool.
like a skeleton key, and like I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. I have it on the first floor of my museum, like right by the entrance.
Oh, awesome. And well, that leads me, you're the founder of the Historical Society.
Oh yeah, the so the historical society. It's basically a coalition of different museums, and not just museums, like just personal archivalists. Because a lot of people just like want to help save Fredonian history and just like save like old versions of the map and whatnot or old chat logs, and they don't necessarily have a museum themselves. But the historical society combines all these different factors and all these different facets of history and just like puts them all together in one community. So we have like a very active community. We have a website which new content gets uploaded to like pretty much every week. Just like more archives of random stuff like old YouTube videos concerning the server or just like old Discord messages and whatnot. Like we just archive pretty much everything, both the media like in the game, like event items and stuff like that, and the stuff outside the game, like I said, like chat logs and whatnot. So like it
That's
is like a
amazing.
yeah, it's a pretty comprehensive group. I mean, there was a person before me. His name was Scampy, and he was a player that sort of like kept the historical community together. But he quit like pretty much the year I joined. So after I realized that no one was sort of like taking that role, I decided to step in and just like sort of bring everyone back together. And like it's sort of or back when Scampy was running it, it was like he didn't really run a historical society, but he had a few people together, and it wasn't all that many people. It was just like museum owners. But once I opened it to people who just wanted to help and just expand, even without having museums, like we really grew a lot. And right now, I think we are the largest Discord server for Minecraft Online outside of the main server, of course.
That's
And so
awesome.
that means we're probably also the largest community too.
Wow. So you mentioned there's a website for it as well.
Oh yeah, we have
What's it called?
so that's I think that's just Newport slash or dash museum.org. And
Okay.
then there we have like both some blog posts, although that those haven't been updated in a while. We also have a link that like feeds the announcements from our Discord, so those get posted too, like automatically. But then most importantly, we have the file archives there, so there you can just like access like a bunch of different Minecraft Online history, all sorts of different stuff. And that gets updated like I said, like almost weekly now. So there's a lot of cool stuff that's going on there.
That's super cool. I wasn't aware of that. I'll have to go check that out.
Oh yeah, it's pretty interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's honestly like I will say that the historical society is probably my biggest passion. Like even before the museum, just because like we've been able to do so much ever since I started it. Like I'm
You-
really glad that like I managed to bring people together, and because like we're able to accomplish so much more together instead of everyone working on the same project but doing it like by themselves.
That makes sense. And just for clarification, when did that or when did you take over that or start it?
So I founded the historical society. What was it? Probably 2022. So it's been a few years now. Or
Yeah.
no, it was probably 2023 that I started it. So probably a couple years now. But like
Nice.
before then, I was still like rallying people, like trying to get people together. So we sort of had an unofficial group before that. It just wasn't really a name.
No, that's
But
really
yeah, I saw what Scampy did before, and I just realized the importance of like bringing a community to archivalism, because like I can't do everything by myself. Like there's like people who update the wiki pages. There's people who like try to find like lost media and stuff like that. Like if that was just all on me, like I used to be doing a ton of this work by myself, but now that like
mhm.
so many more people are together, people can work on stuff which other people haven't been working on, and that way like a lot more ground gets covered instead of just like one or two people cramming and doing all the work themselves.
No, that's no, yeah, divide and conquer, right?
Yeah, no, that's really been our saving grace here.
So when Scampy was that the person's name you say?
Yeah,
Uh, did they have a museum to put all this material in before you founded the historical society or
yeah. So the reason why Scampy was such a public figurehead was because Scampy used to own the largest museum. um,
okay.
that was I think that record was beat by me in like 2021, and I've held it ever since. So like right now,
Awesome.
it's there's some other pretty big museums which I'd consider competition, like the
Really?
Continental Museum, which is actually owned by a pretty famous Minecraft YouTuber, but like he's spent a lot of time on MCO. His handle is MC Byte. He's made a lot of like 2v2t videos,
Okay.
but like he's got like an absolutely comprehensive museum, like which it's a lot better formatted than mine. I'm just going to be honest, like
Re-
because like he had a big collection first and then he built a museum for it. For me it's
Oh.
like I had a smaller collection, and then like I built on it over and over time over across the years, so I kept having to
Mhm.
expand my museum. So everything's like pretty cluttered and all over the place and not very formal. But when I
It
move sites, I'm hoping to like switch things around and then have it formatted in a better way.
I was about to ask, is that one reason why you're moving?
That is one, yeah, that is actually one reason. People, my biggest complaint for the museum is that people are always saying like it's way too cluttered and things aren't where they're supposed to be. And like I definitely
Mm.
do see that. So that's one thing. Like when we have a new site, we can like fully like reimagine how things are supposed to go down. And also like my museum is probably the laggiest place on the server. Like I run like maybe 40 frames a second on my laptop, but it drops down to like 7 or 5, which is actually kind of crazy that I'm still like running the museum at like 7 frames a second when I'm playing on my
Oh,
laptop. But like it gets really
dang.
bad, and it's like unplayable for some players on the lower NPCs, just
I
because of
can
like how many
imagine.
displays are put together, like with all of the paintings and entities and whatnot. And we have just so many armor stands too.
Wow.
It really does get like a lot. So I'm hoping that when we move to a new place, we can expand further and stretch everything out so it's not just so laggy in that area. And that also just frees up that area of Newport because like the people that build around me have always complained about like the museum lagging their zone and pretty much making it unplayable. So I'm
I
hoping
never
that
thought
that
about
changes things
that.
there. Yeah.
So where are you moving to?
So I'm actually moving to the museum town of Babylonia. That was founded back in 2023, I believe, and that was actually started because we were originally thinking of moving my museum there. But it's been so long. It's taken years just because like we've had a lot of arguments about it and like about like how we would do it. A lot
Hmm.
of people were thinking we should make like a completely new museum, but I liked the original design. So eventually, what we decided we were going to do is we're going to copy the museum over to the new town, the museum town. And that's going to be like in the center of the town. There's already a few builds there, so some of the builds are going to be moved so that mine can like be like right by the entrance to the Nexus. And then after
Dang.
that, like we're going to expand it a little bit so that like not everything has to be like right next to each other and like causing so much lag.
So when you move something, are you literally disassembling it block by block and
So,
reconstructing that area of a
yep,
town?
it's unless we can like maybe we can like convince an admin to just like copy and paste it, but like yeah, we're most likely just going to be doing that by hand, which is going to take like a
Dang.
long time, but then at the same time that allows you to make those expansions like as you're building it.
Do you pay workers in Diamond or
Yeah,
do you
or
just get volunteers?
for this, like I'm probably gonna have to pay workers. But like for the first time, like this, the museum was actually custom built for me moving into Newport. They made a deal with me that if I moved to that town and I set up my collection, they'd give me my own building and everything like that. So it was custom built for my collection and expanded upon as my collection grew. Um,
Neat.
so for that initial one, it was free. I just had to move in there. But for this, now that I'm having to recreate that building somewhere else, I will have to probably cover the cost of hiring new builders, which is sort of an issue because we are running a little low on diamonds. I have an assistant that's sort of been running the museum because I haven't had too much time to get on recently. And he's just
Mhm.
been like completely invaluable to me. He's definitely my favorite employee, like because he's always like finding the new stuff, like any sort of like rarity that pops up. He'd make sure to buy it as fast as he can or try to get it before other collectors do. So I really do appreciate
Awesome.
him for that. But he has sort of run our diamonds low because of that. So I am a little worried about funding for building this new site, but we'll figure out something.
Can you
It's
raise the funds? Are there loans you can take out?
It's funny you should mention that because I've actually had to do that in the past for the museum. Back when we were getting raided, like people were coming in and killing our mobs, I wanted to expand the museum and add security features. This would
Mhm.
like require like custom redstones for the flooring and stuff like that. So to pay for those mechanics, both the designing and the implementation of them, I created museum war bonds. And basically, these war bonds were they had a set amount of value to them, and I only produced like 50 of them.
Mhm.
So you could like cash the war bond into me for like I think it's like 5 diamond blocks at any time. So the people that have
Wow.
them, like they could cash them in at any time, but like they know that it pretty much has more value being a craft note because the war bonds are the craft notes that have my name on them. So
Mhm.
they've pretty much become. I think I made those in 2023, so they've become a collectible item since, and they have traded a few hands. I've seen them in other people's collections now, so that is
That's
pretty
cool.
interesting to see them around. But yeah,
That's
that
pretty
is how
cool.
I've secured funding in the past, and might be what I'll have to do to secure funds for this new site.
I have to ask, how far away is this new site from your current location?
Oh, it is like absolutely on the other side of the map. Like
Oh my
currently, like
gosh.
we're on like the southwest border expansion, but like right where we're going now for the new site is like far north, like right like with the absolute latest update. It's called the Borderlands, like just like the outermost level of terrain that was generated in the 1.12.2 update. And yeah, we're set somewhere like pretty far out there. So yeah, it's definitely a trek.
That's insane because I just mentioned the radius of this. I think it says spanning 42,000 kilometers or blocks total.
Oh yeah,
This
it's
world. That's a hell of a trip to pack everything. How are you going to do that? Now,
just
I
a lot of shulkers and hope. Like
a
I'm
lot of
worried.
shulkers and on a rail system, or do you primarily you mentioned Nexus port or Nexuses?
Mhm.
Are these
So
portals?
Yeah, those are very specific portals that are put like equidistantly across the server in like different positions. That way, people can travel to different parts of the world without having to like because like Minecraft Online was like was around like and we were on 1.7.10 for a long time before we updated to 1.12.2. So that was all
Hmm.
before Elytras, and then it would take forever to get anywhere. So Nexus just kind of makes sense. Like it allows you to travel to other expanses of the world without having to take hours just to see like one of your friends' builds.
No,
So
it makes
I actually
sense.
have a massive map of both the Nexus system and the Rail system. It's printed like I use the printer at my university, and I'm actually staring at it right now. It's across from me in my room where I'm recording this,
Oh, that's
and yeah,
cool.
they're pretty much like set up at equal distances, like at different areas, with the exception of settlements, because settlements can also get their own Nexus points outside of those designated areas if they have enough players and they meet like different qualifications, like having boat routes and having rail routes to get to them.
Very interesting. I personally, I love building rails. My entire kingdom's set up on them.
Ooh,
All
really?
40 of my towns, and but I do have a couple nether portals linked up in one section, like a province of my world, and
Mm-hmm.
they're super handy. But man, building in the nether, I I don't really enjoy that.
No,
But
yeah,
I'm sure you
especially with
guys
all
have
the
that all
gas.
secured.
Sorry, what was that last thing you just said?
I'm sure you guys have secured the entire nether, huh? Because
So the
don't you?
Nether's actually kind of a mess in Minecraft Online. Like I'd imagine it would be a lot more developed, but there's a few cool things on the Nether roof. Like I'm actually the only one who ever tried to build a settlement on the Nether roof. It kind of took
Mm.
off, but then I abandoned it for the museum. But outside of that, there's like a pretty cool stone cathedral on the roof. But
Oh,
like for the main
cool.
Nether itself, there's a few highways and stuff like that. But outside of that, it's just like one massive mining operation. And I do think that's got the big thing that's got to do with that is because I said that the world doesn't get reset, but like that's only a half truth because the Nether is going to be reset for the next update, the 1.16 update. Whenever we jump to a later version, which is going to be far past 1.16, but like that completely changes the Nether. So they're going to what they're planning to do is completely reset the Nether. But the cool thing is they're thinking of taking the old Nether and putting it on the Nether roof of the new Nether. That way we can have like both worlds. So that's not been confirmed to
Interesting.
happen yet, but I think that'd be pretty cool if they do it.
So they're able to pretty much stack the new version on top of the old version?
Theoretically, yes. I don't know like if they're gonna have enough like space to do it. Like maybe it's gonna go past like build limit or whatever. But the head admin was talking about it, and she was making it sound like it was possible. So I'm really hoping it's possible. And like that would only just have to be a portion of the new Nether roof. Like you could still have like parts of the roof which you could build on, but only a portion of that would take up the old Nether. And that way, even
Wow.
like I said, there's not much on the old Nether because people know it's going to get destroyed, so they don't really build anything in there. There's only like a
Mhm.
few like small houses and stuff like that, or just like stuff built around the portals which people used to travel. But like, I still think it would be not cool if it got preserved. The
That is
old end
super
actually
interesting.
was removed, but they brought it back for last year, and they put it out somewhere within the outer end islands, like taking the old central island before it was reset, and then yeah, it's pretty cool that they put that there too.
Wow. Okay. No, that's interesting. I that's beyond my expertise, stacking nethers and
Mine too.
all that. I yeah, no, that's cool though to know that there's people out there that know how to do that.
I'm forever grateful for. They have like a massive dev team. Like most of the admins on the server, if not all, are developers themselves, and they have to like do all sorts of plugins and stuff like that, and like different commands to like make sure stuff like this works. Like, yeah, taking the entirety of the old end and then like plopping it down somewhere in the new end. Like that does take like probably an insane level of command expertise. So I'm pretty grateful for them.
That's super cool. So there's a lot of developers running around there.
Oh, quite a lot. Yeah, we've had issues in the past where some developers who were players like were doing it for their own means, and they created backdoors on the server, which allowed them to like spawn in a bunch of illegal stuff. So
Oh,
that has
whoa.
been, yeah. Back in I think 2022, we had like a big issue with that with like one person who like completely like made like some sort of like there was like several videos posted on from like big name YouTubers just because like no one was expecting this. It came completely out of the blue, but they've
That's
since tightened their
hilarious.
grip and they've like let a lot less of people on the dev team now. So that I feel like that sort of has slowed down progress, but has made it a lot more secure.
Dang. So is there anybody, just kind of veering off subject because I was going to dive into your museum, but
No, you're good.
who's, is there anybody that's still around since the beginning of the server?
So, from the absolute beginning, you don't really see too many. There was this one player, this one admin called like Basest Furry or whatever, like that, and they haven't been around, or they joined in like 2010, if I'm recalling that correctly, and they
Mhm.
haven't been around for years, but they just rejoined a few weeks ago, and I've been seeing them recently. Um,
Wow.
and on top of that, there's players like a good friend of mine is named Freeman77, and he's been playing since 2013. So
Wow.
he's like a true veteran player, and he's probably I'd consider him, and also Anna 28, like she's been around since probably around like 2012 or 2013. That the
Dang.
current's like head admin. So those two have like been around forever, and I'd consider those like the two veteran players who have been there since the beginning. But no, most of the 2010 and 2011 players have like completely moved on. I mean, they've got like a wife and kids now, or like they're just like balding. I don't even know, but like yeah, I mean, there is a few of them from the beginning which are like they show up occasionally, and like yeah, they are like some of them are like in their 50s or 60s. It's like pretty crazy.
No, that is pretty wild. I bet their minds blown when they come back.
Oh yeah, and that's the perfect thing. It's like you can come back like even after like 14 years of like not playing on the server. If you built something there, it's still going to be there because like the admins like are very like enforcing of their rules, and like they won't tolerate any sort of grief, and any sort of grief that's made will automatically like be repaired after they find out it happens. Like they get an alert that they get like pretty much pinged to them whenever someone breaks a block that isn't theirs. So
Yeah,
yeah, griefers are caught pretty quickly and stuff is restored. So yeah, that's the best thing about Minecraft Online, that you can just come back to it whenever you want, and everything will always be just like you left it.
that's awesome. Do you think you'll, let's say 15 years from now, do you think you'll be around?
I definitely don't think I'll be playing Minecraft Online,
Well,
but
maybe not you, but do you think the server will still be
oh yeah,
chugging along?
100%. Yeah, Minecraft Online is going to exist as long as Minecraft does. It's like even if the main developer like or the owner of it's Slow Riot, like even if he like shuts down like his main server or whatever, people are going to make like their own server with like the world's like a download of it, and they're going to continue it.
Nice.
But
No,
even
I
then,
like
like
to hear that.
I think the owner of the server is a pretty well off guy. I don't think this server is going to be closing anytime soon.
No, that's awesome. That is cool that you can come back years later and still like see your old structure.
Oh yeah, I can imagine it's the coolest thing for like people that have been like playing in like 2013 or 2014 and come back, because you do see those every so often, like those pretty old players that come back and they're like, oh wow, everything's just like I left it, and it's like yeah, it's always cool to see.
So, back to your museum, I have to ask because I read you have the most popular museum in this world, this massive world. So
Mhm.
so what is it that draws people into your museum, you think?
So honestly, with me, it's like it's kind of hard to tell because with my collection, I collect everything that you can possibly collect. And sorry, the sound might be changing because I got to go to a different room and plug this into a charger.
Oh,
But
gotcha. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, no
I
worries.
have everything from like a gallery of the Zetterstrand paintings to glitched items, and I feel like the glitched mill items are what get most people interested in the museum. We have some pretty interesting stuff there, like a shulker that was put into a shulker that was put into another shulker, like you know, like Russian nesting dolls, right?
Yeah.
Where you just like stack
Yes.
one in another and another, and so we pretty much did
Kind of
that
like
using it.
bundles now.
Yeah, exactly. But like, there's was an exploit with a craft book where you could just put one in another and then one in another, and we did that until it reached like 64 of them like inside each other. So that's probably
That's
one of my
amazing.
favorite items because that was patched like shortly after that glitch was found. So not I don't think any of those exist beyond mine, but it's pretty cool to be owning that.
And
And then
can you fill those up so can you fill the nested shulker boxes up?
theoretically we could, but all we did was just only we only filled them with more shulkers. Like so, every shulker had a shulker inside of it.
That is
We just wanted to
wild.
test and see if there would be a limit until it broke, but we gave up around 64 just because it was getting too expensive.
You should use that to pack your museum up.
Literally, dude. The funny thing is, it could probably hold all of the museum too.
There you go. One trip.
It would
That'd be
probably just come up
amazing.
like super corrupted when you unpacked it all, though.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be good. So, so you just have a whole array of items, and you said the glitch vanilla items are the
Yeah,
big
so
ticket there.
like we have a lot of people come for the map arts too. Like there's like hundreds of map art which people have done, and we like pretty much as soon as a new map art comes out, we try to collect it as fast as we can and put it up on our gallery. And we have like
Nice.
hundreds of banners as well. Most of those are off display now because we're working on a banner tower. My friend Rebel Commander, who's been running most of the museum, like I said, while I've having been to take sort of a hiatus, he's been working primarily on the banners, and he's pretty much making like a banner for every single country and U.S. state. It's like kind of crazy, but like he's almost done with that. So on top of that, like we're gonna have that displayed, and on top of that, we're gonna have like all of the Minecraft Online native banners, which we've collected across the years, and we have those set up in a different place.
Dang.
So, and then on top of that, we also have like player heads because there's a plugin where if you kill other players, like you can collect their head as a decorative head, and that's like helped me a lot because I've been able to make like custom decorative heads, which we're able to like place down like different like removed blocks from earlier versions of the game or like stuff from Minecraft Story Mode. So I've been able to do some cool stuff with those heads and that feature, and a
Yeah,
lot of the museum is like that.
I kind of saw that's your block display project that you've been working on, right?
So block display, my block display project is different, but it uses like the same decorative heads. So with Minecraft Online, like it's currently at a version where block display isn't even possible yet. I think block display
Okay.
gets added in 1.19, and we're still in
Mhm.
1.12, so we're a bit of a ways from that. But with block display, that's actually four heads put like together because when you put like four heads together in a cube, each head is 8 by 8 in texture. So when you put that together with eight others, you get a 16 by 16 cube, which is the size of like any normal block texture from the game. So by putting like eight of those heads together, you can recreate pretty much every single texture from Dungeons, Legends, Story Mode, like or like any other mod or anything too. Just as long as it's a 16 by 16 texture.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's
Um,
something that like I've spent a lot of time on recently.
yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, and I'll just kind of jump around here. Yeah,
Oh
do you want
wait,
to talk
oh
about?
one
Would you
thing
like to
I
talk
did.
about your block? Sorry.
Sorry, I forgot to mention a couple things about my museum.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so another thing I forgot to mention is we have like a pretty big library display, and
Mhm.
with that, like we have. Sorry, my cat's like freaking out right now. I
Hey,
don't know
you're
if I can
fine.
pick it up, but we have like probably like 400-500 books, something like that. And these are like all like individual ones written by different players across the years. And yeah,
That's
that's probably
awesome.
like one of the biggest parts of our displays too. We have like mobs and stuff, but yeah, the books, the banners, and the heads are probably our biggest attractions.
Yeah, the mobs, which we kind of already talked about because some griefer came in and killed all your
Yeah, we
mobs,
we
and
don't have many of those
the
left.
books do fascinate me because excuse me, because in my world, I think I have, oh gosh, I can't remember, probably 8 to 10 books. I have a Bible that I wrote called the Shadow Codex for my people.
Oh,
I made up a
sick!
religion.
That's
It's the
awesome.
Dark Lord's religion, and there's these reflection rooms every town or anywhere that has a population. I build one of these, and I put that Bible in that town. Just to
That's so
convert the
awesome,
people.
dude. I love when
But
people hold on to their own lore like that.
yeah, no, I need to type it up. If I type it on my, I've been meaning to type it like on a page document. If I do that, I'll send you a copy so you can check
Oh,
it
that'd
out
be
if you
awesome.
want.
I'd love to see it.
Heck
But
yeah.
yeah, we
But
actually have quite a few of those different religions and Bibles that people have made up for cults or whatnot.
do you separate the books out like a Dewey Decimal System, or?
So yeah, we sort by author names. So I used to be the one that sorted the books, but we got a more professional person on. His name is Data, and he's
Mm,
helped a ton. Like he completely reformatted it to make it a lot more professional, and he's
cool.
helped a lot, like formatting it to put these books up because we have most of our books like off display right now. Like you can't really find them in the museum; they're just in chests because we're
Hmm.
planning on moving them to like this massive like vault that goes like all the way down to bedrock, and it's like this pretty much like tube that goes into the ground, and then we're going to have like a slot. Like we'll have slots like for every single author in this hole that goes down to bedrock. So it'll be like A to
That's
Z, and
cool.
then yeah, every slot will like be expanded further into the ground. Like the more works the author has, so that way like every player gets their own little space.
That's awesome. Have you written any books?
I have written quite a few books actually. So most of them are just being like guidebooks and whatnot. But
Hmm.
there is quite a few of mine that are in collection. Also, a lot of like contracts and whatnot. I've ended up writing, and I always make a copy of those just to keep in the archives. But player
That's
contracts,
interesting.
yeah, their
I
player
never thought
contracts are
about
quite
that.
common.
So, so are contracts pretty common?
Yeah, it's like those are one thing that I do. Like they're probably one of my favorite types of books to collect, and probably yeah, just my favorite types of books like in general, just because like they're just they're so varied. They're over dumb. Sometimes there's stuff like assassinations, and sometimes just dumb stuff like I gave you a loan, you better pay this back. Like, but like I've always just found them very interesting, and I'm more than happy to overpay for them when I find them. One thing
That's
that
awesome.
yeah, one of my favorite contracts is the original town I joined back in 2020. They just called themselves Finland, but like
Okay.
they had a system where any new player had to write a contract. And back when I think 2022, Finland was purchased by Newport because Newport was nearby, and they had beef with Finland in the past. So this was kind of just like trying to dunk on them or whatever. Just like with like Snaky Man's like that. He likes he holds grudges, so he wanted to do that
Okay.
just to be like, oh yeah, I finally won the war with Finland because we Newport and Finland were never officially at war, but they were going against each other all the time. But
That's
yeah,
hilarious. Does Finland exist still?
Finland does exist still, and while basically when he bought Finland, he let us like look around and like take things from the chests because he owned like the entire site now. And the interesting thing with Finland is it's different from the other settlements because you couldn't do this with any other settlement because other settlements are like owned by their respective builders. Like if a builder builds a house in a settlement, even if the owner of the settlement says like, okay, yeah, no, like this build it's got to go. Like you can remove the build, like you can have it moved elsewhere, but you can't like let other people like break the build and like take stuff from it. But
Hmm.
since there was contracts for Finland, like the contract stated like, oh yeah, we give like full ownership to like the leader of Finland. So with
Oh
that, like
wow.
we were able to use the contracts to like loot like pretty much all the chests. So
So you guys
it's
got a
like
legal loophole.
yeah, ethics aside, like I ended up getting like a ton of books through that, and including all of the contracts. So I have something like two shulkers worth of different player contracts of like all sorts of different players. I've never actually found my own contract, which considering I definitely made one when I joined the settlement at the very beginning. I know that there
Oh
are
wow.
some contracts which are lost, still lost time. I think someone else got to them before I did, but that's always something I've been on the lookout for.
That's hilarious. Wow. Okay. That's super interesting. Um so
I've always been obsessed with them.
no, that's no, I didn't know about I didn't think about contracts. That makes sense. Maybe you can write a bunch of contracts for yeah,
Oh, I've been
promissory
using them
notes
for
to
just about
people.
everything.
Yeah. Okay, so let me see here. I'm going to skip a few questions because I've learned they aren't relevant. Because this server is, you said in update 1.12, right?
Yeah, so we're far past the or we're far before the new updates.
Yeah. Okay, and you guys are you were mentioning earlier in this episode that maybe soon that they're going to be updating your
Oh
version.
yeah, so that's actually been in the works for years now. Just because like I said, Minecraft Online uses a bunch of different like plugins to just like enhance the experience to like make it actually playable. Like considering like they
Hmm.
used to run on a another client called like Canary or something like that, but that service discontinued like years ago, so they've had to sort of like build their own engine to like keep the server running as it does. So like because of that, and because they have to like update all this stuff like manually by themselves, like it does take a long time. But like they're currently thinking of updating somewhere between like 1.19 to 1.21. So like so it's going to be one of the newest versions either way. But I'm really hoping that they wait a little while and go the latter with like 1.21, because it would be nice to have some of
Dang.
those newer features being able to actually experiment with them.
Yeah, that's like bringing you up into tricky trials.
Yeah, that's the
And
thing. I've never actually been to one of those either. I've never been to a Pale Garden either, just because like Minecraft Online is the only server I really play on these days. I don't really have a personal world of my own that I stick to. So
I
like sometimes like I'll
respect
go into
that.
creative like on a newer version just to test like the stuff and just like see how it looks. But beyond that,
Mhm.
I'm just waiting for it to come to Minecraft Online, and I might be waiting
No,
for a while.
you're going to be a very busy man though when that happens, because you
Oh,
have a museum that's collecting everything, right?
dude, you don't even believe. Like, I see. The thing is, like, I don't know if like stuff like pottery shards are going to be like renewable, like through some sort of admin sponsored dungeon or whatever, like where they might drop them from like custom enemies or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
like I'm thinking that maybe they might do that just so that that stuff's renewable and so that not only a few people have them. But until stuff like that's confirmed, like I got to make sure that we go around and like lock down all the vanilla exclusive rarities, like when they come out. Like I want to collect as many of those as I can. Also, all the armor trims and whatnot. I've never got to use those before, but definitely want to collect all of those and have a display with those. So I'm really excited to
Yeah.
see, especially with the 1.20 update, the archaeology update. I'm really excited to see
Yeah.
what that does to the world.
No, it's I think you're going to have a lot of fun with that. Do you collect every like unique block too, like all the new tough variants, copper variants?
So for that, I don't like collect like everything. I just collect well for like I do collect it with like plants and stuff. Like I'll collect one of each plant. Like I have all of the trees and all that, all the flowers and everything. But for the blocks
Mhm.
themselves, no, I don't. Although the one exception to that is we have a collection of every single floating block. That's like those are like blocks that like are affected by gravity, like gravel or like what do you call it? Powdered concrete, like so stuff
Okay.
like that. Like you can, there's a glitch in 1.12 where you're able to make those like float midair. You can do that with like everything from like sands to anvils. So we have a collection of all of those set up, just like glitched floating using the exploit. Just because like it's only possible in 1.12, but outside of that, we don't really collect like individual blocks that aren't considered rare.
Okay. No, I just had to ask because you will have a lot of collecting to do, my friend. With
Oh yeah. Honestly, like if I decided to like go on and collect one of everything, like I would be absolutely screwed when that update came out. I'd be there working for
yeah,
years.
the creaking's going to be interesting for you to put in your museum.
Oh, very much. I'm looking forward to resin too. There's just going to be like I do hope like you're able to name creakings now, right? Like so you can keep them around permanently.
I believe so. I think you
Because
can
yeah,
name
I
tag
really
them.
do hope that you can actually keep them around instead. Because I knew for the longest time, like no matter what, they just despawn. But I'm pretty sure that got changed recently. So I'm
I
hoping
think
that
so.
whatever version we land in, like it's late enough so that we can actually keep one of those around. Because
Yeah,
like you were saying, yeah, that would be awesome.
I hope they bring you up to gosh, that'd be amazing if they could bring you up to this almost new spring drop where you could get like the cow variants, chicken variants, and pigs.
That would be wishful thinking. Like I was hoping for that, but like from the sound of it, sounds like they're going for the version behind it, which is unfortunate because I really do love the new drops and like the way that they're changing things up. But I don't think I
Yeah.
would be seeing those for years, if
Dang.
ever.
Yeah. If you aren't playing outside your server that often, probably not.
Yeah, nah. I mean, you stick to your realm too, right? You don't really,
I do.
yeah. Say you get it. It's like once you like really commit yourself to a world, it's like you don't really. I know other people feel differently, but for me, it's like I don't really feel the need to play any other servers.
No, I definitely respect that. Because yeah, I see people all the time on Blue Sky or Twitter that say, I don't know how to commit to a long-term world or in a world for a long time. And to me, I just get so involved with building my own lore, and these worlds are so big that I mean, I all I have to do is travel 2,000 blocks, and that's a new world to me. You know?
Literally, yeah. It's like if you get tired of like playing on your current world, just like go somewhere else in the world.
Yeah,
We'll
these
have
are
to make a new
infinite
world for
almost.
that. But yeah, no,
Okay, before I move on to your block display project, I do have to ask this because I've never heard of this before, but I even pulled the quote from the site. But Ned Human, I'm just going to read the quote, but it's back to this person that killed all your mobs. And
Mhm.
my question is, what is a stack of pigs?
That is a
I
very good
guess.
question. So
What is a stack of pigs?
it is exactly what it sounds like. It is a this pretty much abomination where like five or six pigs are stacked on top of each other, and then the bottom pig
What?
controls the movement of all the others. It's been seen with I think sheep at one point, and I've definitely seen a cow or a cow like pillar too. But like the pigs, for some reason, like we've seen pigs like maybe four. I've seen like maybe 4 or 5 instances of this. So it's like I
This
don't
is
know where they come
insane.
from.
So it's like,
I think they might come from like a mini game that involves pigs, and then like maybe when an admin gets bored, they spawn some of those to like just spice the game up. But like I don't have a
what?
definitive answer for where they come from, aside from the fact that there is quite a few across the world.
That's amazing because I think I even tried doing a little research on Stack of Pigs and I couldn't find much.
Oh yeah, they're not a vanilla item. They're most definitely something that a admin made when messing around. But the fact that they can be found across the world, they're not common by any means, but they're not. Well, I would say they are rare, but the fact that I've seen like 4 or 5 of them, there's definitely more around, and I'm guessing they all come from the same admin at some point. I just don't know who.
That's really cool. Okay, I had to ask.
Yeah,
That
no,
just stuck
stack of
out to
pigs
me.
is like that is one of those things that like you'll they're considered like a pretty rare valuable, but like you'll see some of those on Minecraft Online, like other ones like you'll find like invisible pigs sometimes, which they just have like really high invisibility levels on them, so they like never go out, they never run out of the invisibility effect. Or we've found some invincible mobs too, so that's also pretty interesting when that happens.
That's awesome. Okay. No, that's amazing.
Yeah, we've actually had
Now,
a I think a Game Rant article that was featuring the museum because of one of the immortal villager we have on display there.
what? Wait, so you got featured in a Game Rant article. That's cool.
Yeah, no, that was like it just happened out of nowhere. And then on top of that, like we also got featured on like some obscure Russian site too that I was also blogging about it, like probably just copying the game rant, but it was funny that we found that there too. But like yeah,
That's
it was pretty cool because it was an immortal villager that a friend of mine just found at the bottom of the ocean, like just like we would have drowned otherwise. It was just like sitting in a minecart at the bottom of the ocean. He found it while flying
what?
over it with an elytra, and then he managed to bring it back to land and then sold it to us. So yeah, that's how we got it.
Oh my gosh. Wait, explain that again. There was a dude in a minecart at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, so the villager, it was a Fletcher villager, and it was at the bottom. It's just chilling in a minecart at the bottom of the ocean. Like or the theory is that like someone shot it, like from a TNT cannon, and then like for some reason it didn't die, and it just landed down there. But no one really
Wow.
knows why it's immortal. But it's been there. It's been in the museum for a few years now, and it's actually one of the interesting things is that it's actually a beta villager. So it's one of the older villager ones that has like a complete different set of trades because it was one of the first villagers that spawned in the world when it was on the older version. So that is pretty interesting how we have it's both beta and immortal. So I thought that was cool.
That is cool. That's amazing. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad I got to hear about that. That's insane. Okay, let's move on to your block display. I'm honestly, you kind of just you explained it very briefly, but this is something that's brand new to me. So, could you walk me through your block display project?
Oh yeah, of course. So block display as a whole is a command that got released in, like I said, I think around 1.19. And basically with that is it allows you to take like any sort of block or item texture or player head pretty much, and then you're able to manipulate them, like warp them to different sizes and different shapes, and they'll be like floating in the air, or you can like tag them to different like you can like make animations with them and stuff like that. It's technically possible to do it in complete vanilla using command blocks, but there's sites like block/display.com, which like pretty much puts it in like a engine which you can just use easily on your computer. Like if anyone's used Blockbench or if you've heard of that,
Yeah,
that's like something that people use to make a lot of Minecraft 3D models. So it's pretty much like Blockbench, except like anything you make can be recreated like in complete survival, or not in complete survival, in complete vanilla, just using a line of command with command blocks. So
that's interesting.
before what I would start to do was I would make like models based on like Minecraft Legends concept art and stuff, just using like normal like blocks and like just stone and stuff like that, like stretched out and warped. But like I realized that heads, since they use like an 8x8 texture, if you put four of those together, or no, eight of them together, just like stacked into like a cube, you get a 16x16 cube texture. And then, like I said earlier, that's like the default size for pretty much every texture in Minecraft. So using that, I've been able to port in like every single texture from Minecraft Dungeons, Minecraft Legends, and Minecraft Story Mode. Also Minecraft Earth, but there was only a few exclusives for that.
Is that how you were able to make that bear, that brown bear?
So the brown bear was actually the first model I ever made on Blockbench.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, that one can't actually be made in or can't actually be summoned in vanilla. Like you have to use a data pack or something to or
Mm,
a texture pack to have that. But like you are technically able to make that in block display. You would have to like use like a lot of different player heads that were just like reshaped down pretty much like just like every single head is like its own pixel.
mhm.
So it would probably be a lot more laggy, but it technically could be done. There's just nothing to automatically do that. They're the only like formats that they have are like blocks and slabs and stairs and stuff like that. But yeah, technically you could do like pretty much any sort of shape or design.
Interesting. So,
It's yeah.
are you using these blocks for as like a part of a mod pack of your own, or do you sell them, or what do you do with them?
So I actually do nothing with them myself. It's like I'm not even a builder. Like the like I said, the Newport Museum was built for me and designed for me. Like
Mhm.
I absolutely suck at building. So
Oh,
like these are meant to help builders, and I know a lot of builders who have used them on their servers or on their personal worlds. But yeah, this is just
cool.
meant as a resource for the community to enjoy, not something that as much that I'm going to use myself. So that's honestly like always like I've never really minded that like that I'm not actually going to use my own stuff, but yeah, it just makes me happy that other people are using it and that like I'm able to contribute to the community in this way. Because like
No,
a lot
that's
of people
really
complain
neat.
like, oh yeah, like why don't we have all these features from Minecraft Dungeons, or why don't we have features from Bedrock? And like that does suck that we don't have more parity. But what people don't
Mhm.
realize is that we can like create our own parody by like by porting these like blocks and like different features in. Like I'm also using block display to create like weapon textures and item textures from Minecraft Dungeons. So by putting all these together and like making block displays out of them, we can create our own parody, like even without being official sources.
No, I think that's amazing, and I think that's really cool of you to make those for other players.
Thank you.
And
I just realized someone's got to do it, and no one else was doing it, so might as well be me.
very true. I honestly, I'm ignorant to when it comes to legends and dungeons. I've said that to other guests on this show. There's so much to talk about in vanilla. I just
Oh
been
yeah,
focused on that in my podcast. But no, I think that's really cool that you've bridged a gap between those two games and kind of united them
and that's not.
by making those.
I'm also trying to do that for the older versions of Minecraft too. Like I currently have like most of the like alpha and beta textures, or at least the alpha textures ported in. But one of
Hmm.
my final plan or like wider goal plans is to take all of the textures that are like currently in like the developer texture kit or whatever, like all the like what are considered outdated textures that got replaced. I don't remember what version did that, but like I think it was 1.13 or something like that. But
Hmm.
all the textures prior to that version, I want to turn them into block display blocks too. That way, people can like use them for like detailing. Like if you want to have like old stone and new stone next to each other for like slight differences and like
Hmm.
just like you could like do like a ton more detailing like that, like make walls look a lot more realistic. And I think there's a lot of potential there, and I'm excited to work on that. Like once I finish up like the last of there's a few dungeons textures which I'm still like finding like straggler textures which I glanced over and I still have to port. So once I finish those, I'm probably going to move on to either creating Minecraft movie content as block displays or working on that with the legacy textures.
Oh, cool. And I have to ask, how many blocks have you made?
Oh God, this is embarrassing, but I think I've done like 2,000 something now. It's like I've just been at it for a long time. It's not all of them are actual like blocks. Some of them are like more detailed textures. Like I've recreated a bunch of different like weapons and like different mechs and stuff from. There's a lot of that like piglin mechs that are made in Minecraft Legends concept art. Some pretty cool stuff which you never actually see in the release game. So I've been making a lot of that using a mixture of both decorative heads and then like other block display features like the like stuff like string or just like other blocks that are just like I use gold a lot because like both gold and netherite are used like primarily in a lot of piglin architecture. So I can use a lot
True.
of those vanilla blocks when I'm making these displays.
No, neat. And do you sell these?
No, it's all open on my blockdisplay.com profile. I was
Hmm.
thinking at one point of maybe having like a Patreon for the newer blocks because I know a decent amount of people use these, but decided to go against it because, I mean, first of all, these aren't my textures. Like they're made by the Mojang team, so I'm just like literally just ripping the textures and putting them down. And also, I want this to be a community resource. Like I don't want people to have to go through any hoops to get to this stuff. So like as
Gotcha.
long as like right now it's like with the 2000 textures, especially with Minecraft Legends, there's hundreds of textures which I'm guaranteed that nobody will ever use just because of how obscure they are or how stupid they are. But I
But
want
they're
that
there.
option to be there for people. So yeah, that's more important to me than anything else, that people have the option and can like freely access this stuff.
No, that's super awesome. I'll have to put your link in the show description so people
Oh,
can
thank you.
access
Yeah,
that.
I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. And speaking of the links, well, what are your future plans,
So
NightSteak?
like I do definitely want to do a bunch of Minecraft movie content once the concept art for that fully comes out. Like I
Hmm.
noticed that they've done stuff like broccoli and apples in like their own style for the movie, and I'd very much like to see more detailed concept of art of that so I can recreate it in game, like to the best of my abilities, of course. With that,
Yeah.
it's not porting in like their textures. I'd have to maybe make some creative choices for myself, but considering I've seen like literally every single Minecraft Dungeons Legends block texture, I feel like I'm more than qualified for that. So
You sound like it.
that's definitely something I'm interested in. On top of that, like I also upload like pretty much every 8x8 like texture I can find onto a decorative head, and I post that onto my minecraftskins.com account. So I am planning on doing a lot more of that. There's a lot more 8x8 heads in dungeons, or a lot more 8x8 textures in dungeons, which I haven't ported over yet. And I do plan to add those to the site. A lot of those are also just super obscure stuff that no one's going to use. But like I said, I just want people to have the option if they want to use this stuff in the end.
I I don't think anybody's going to complain about that.
But yeah, outside of that, it's like I do want I do want to run my museum for a few more years, but I'm hoping to pass it on to someone else once, and also the historical society too, like as a whole. Once things have started to settle down, and like once I can like fully step back and know that people are going to be able to like take control of all aspects of it, then I'm not going to worry about it. But until then, like I'm just leading, just because I don't want it to fall apart on me. And it is going pretty strong, and I feel like we are getting to the point where I can step away, but I'm
Hmm.
enjoying what I'm doing right now, so I think I'm gonna stick with it for a little longer.
Why not? If you enjoy it, just keep on
Yeah.
going. And plus, you got to move that entire museum, so
Oh
you got
man,
work ahead of you.
that's gonna be a mess. Yeah. Not looking forward to that, but yeah, it's happening.
Don't step down until that's done.
Oh man, yeah, I would not want to throw that on my successor. That would not be
That
fair
would be
to
horrible.
them.
So we can find you at Reddit, which is r/N NightSteak9.
Yeah.
The S is capital in that all one word.
Yeah, I think I
And
created that
at
sub earlier this week.
what's that? Sorry.
I think I created that sub just like earlier this week, or so.
Oh,
Yeah,
did
it's pretty
you?
new, but yeah, I will be posting that like more often. So I'd love to have y'all there.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. So go check that out. I didn't know that was brand new. Dang.
Yeah, no, I just created it.
Okay, cool. Well, that's where I found your links to the Newport Museum in Fredonia. So that was handy for me. I'm glad you created it. And then on X, we can find you at x.com/NightSteak9, the
Mhm.
N and S capitalized. I don't know if that matters, but where else can we find your stuff?
So honestly, then there's blockdisplay.com. So that's block, then slash, or no, block-display.com. That's where my block displays can be found. Then minecraftskins.com. I think that's all. Yep, that's all just one line, no dashes or anything like that. And if you look up NightSteak9 from there, you can find my profile there too. So that way, between the two of those, you can find like every single 8x8 and 16x16 texture in the Minecraft universe.
That's awesome. And
That's pretty much everywhere you can find me.
those are quite a few places that
You can also, I think my Discord's also NightSteak9. If anyone wants to reach out to me there, I'm obviously always happy to answer questions.
awesome. No, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, NightSteak, and now everybody knows where to find you and check out your work. And go check out Fredonia too. I need to get Java and go check this out because I was
Honestly,
telling
yeah,
my girlfriend that last night. I was like, man, I wish I could get on this right now, but I
it's
just didn't feel like downloading it.
yeah, no, it's really something you got to experience for yourself. I would love to have you on there. And I just got to say, it is such an honor to be here. Like, Realm News has been like such a big part of my mornings recently for the past few months. So I really do appreciate you having me on.
Thank you so much, NightSteak. I appreciate that. I really do. No, it's been an absolute honor having you on and talking about this. This is a whole wealth of knowledge that you brought to the table that I know that all my audience would love to hear about this. I know a lot of my audience they like to hear about the old school
Oh,
of
yeah.
the game. And I didn't realize when we first met that you were an owner of a large museum.
Yeah, no, history's
so
always been my game here.
so no, that's amazing that it's kind of a good fitting that you coming to the show because of you owning a museum and this being Realm News, the real and realm. It just pairs well together. So
Yeah, I'm really glad I got to talk about it here. Thank you.
yeah, hopefully you'll come back on
Oh, I would be
if you'd
honored.
like.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about the. I remember we were talking about pots earlier, and maybe talking about a archaeology episode, and I would absolutely love to come on for that.
No, I really would like to have you back on and talk about archaeology, maybe some of your theories and stuff, and just get some more of your insights.
Oh yeah, that's certainly going to be a lot of fun because there was a ton to cover there. So yeah, looking forward to
Okay,
that.
I look forward to it too, NightSteak.
All right,
Well,
thank you so much, man.
you have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, all right, let's keep in touch, man. Catch you later.
Okay, man. Bye. Hello, Realm News fans. I just wanted to pop back in here and just tell you all how much I appreciate you for listening to the show. It means the world to me that you tune in every week to listen to me, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in realm and expands your mind one block at a time. I am honored to be your host and to be able to deliver you weekly original Minecraft content with Realm News Flash and Realm News on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you enjoy the show, I would love it if you would tell your friends about it and tell them to follow it. Hit that like button and leave a comment. I know that on Spotify, you can leave comments on individual episodes. Same on Good Pods. I'm not sure about all the other podcast player platforms out there, but I appreciate feedback. So please comment if you're able to. If you can't comment wherever you listen to Realm News, then you can by following Realm News at either its Twitter, now X, Blue Sky, Reddit, or email, which is all found at bio.link/Realm News, all lowercase. Again, that is bio.link/Realm News. There, you can become a Realm News Patreon member. I urge you all to sign up to the Copper or Diamond tier and get early access to episodes, bonus episodes, newsletters, and ebooks. Find my prices at my Patreon link, all found at bio.link/Realm News. I understand times are tough, and I do not expect anyone to give me money. I am just saying that if you are able to, it's very much appreciated. However, you can show your appreciation by just listening, liking, following, or recommending the show, as I said earlier. That means more than you would ever know. With that said, I wish you all happy crafting, and I look forward to talking to you all at the next Realm News. The Dark Lord. Signing out.